Hi guys. It has been too long. I have not posted a video onto this channel in 2 months, I think. And that's a really long time to go without posting a video. And to those of you who have stuck around, I'm so thankful to you. Thank you so much for being patient with me. I have been absent because life got really crazy for me in January. And because of that, I didn't quite have as much time as I would have liked to read, and it made me feel guilty for not reading. And it's almost like I didn't even want to face you guys because I wasn't reading, and that's silly. I know that's really silly, and it's not like I didn't read any books. Like, I read a few. I totally could have filmed wrap-ups, or wrap-up in January and everything like that, but I just was so busy, and like I said, I felt kind of bad for only reading a couple of books. But here I am. I'm back. I promise I will be a little more present on this channel from now on. I'm going to share with you the books that I read in January, and then I might as well share the books I read in February. So this is a January and February reading wrap up. The weird thing, I'm just grabbing my phone because my list is on my phone of the books I read. The weird thing is most of the books that I've read have been like ebooks, which is very odd for me. I normally will read a physical book, or I'll listen to an audiobook. So most of these, I'm going to be showing pictures of the covers like right here. The past 2 months, I have read 5 books. Yes, only 5. Anyway, the first one is Myths of Immortality by Ray Wagner. Now, this is the 3rd book in the Sphinx series. Last year I read Curse of the Sphinx and Demigods and Monsters because I was part of booktube tours, and that book was touring, and because of that I was actually added to a Facebook group where I would get notifications from the author, and there popped up an opportunity directly through the author to get a copy of Myths of Immortality, an advanced reader copy, in ebook form, and read it and review it. It follows Hope, who is a sphinx, and she's been cursed by Apollo, and there's all these cool like Greek mythological details thrown in there. There's a romance in the first book, and then another male character is introduced in the second book. There's a lot of action and adventure and a really strong female protagonist. So if you enjoy Greek mythology and plots like that, then you'd really enjoy this. I really liked the 3rd one. I think so far the 3rd one is my favorite because there was so much action. The first book was kind of a setup, I think, a lot of world building, but then the 3rd one was just so much action, and there was like a really detailed journey that Hope was going through, and it's not over. Like, there's still going to be more books, so I'm really excited about it. But yeah, so I read that because I was motivated to, because I needed to get the review up. I did post my review on Goodreads and Amazon. Okay, the next book I read was because a good friend of mine, my best friend, Rachel, I just randomly texted her and I was like, we should read books together because we have very different tastes, although she's the one who introduced Outlander to me. But I thought it might be interesting to kind of do like a mini book club, although like just constantly buddy read stuff. So the first one that I thought might be interesting is, I actually wanted to listen to it on audiobook because it is an autobiography. It's called How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran. And I like listening to these types of books on audiobook because they're typically read by the author, and this is an example of that. Caitlin Moran did her own narration, and she is so funny, and this is just such a great feminist work of nonfiction. I like to listen to books on my way to and from work, especially because I was in this horrible reading slump. I needed it to be read to me because otherwise I wasn't reading. But I really loved it. Oh, I don't think I gave you a star rating. I'm so out of the habit of doing these, you guys. I'm so sorry. Myths of Immortality. I believe I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. How to Be a Woman, I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read, and I read it on my phone in an ebook form, is 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. Is that the author? Yes. Okay, a little bit of backstory. I recently started watching videos by Lucy Moon, who is a YouTuber here, and she's not a booktuber or anything, but she and a couple of her friends who are also YouTubers have a book club called Banging Book Club, and it's a feminist book club, and the first book of the year that they were to read is 50 Shades of Grey, and they were going to read it from a feminist lens, and they also have a podcast. So I have been curious about 50 Shades of Grey. I think it was because of all the 50 Shades Darker movie trailers that you like could not escape from for the longest time on YouTube. Although now I got YouTube Red because I'm tired of the ads, but anyway. So I was curious about it. I knew it was very controversial because of just all of the examples of abuse, but I wanted to kind of be able to listen to the episode of the podcast and sort of know what they were talking about, and then I also wanted to kind of form an opinion for myself. So I got it on my phone because I was too embarrassed to actually like be seen reading it, because I would want to be like, I'm reading it for feminism to like everyone who was like looking at me and judging me. So I got it on my phone, and oddly enough, it was very fast paced. You have a lot of people know what it is about, but you've got Anastasia who meets Christian Grey, and he's like all handsome or whatever, and they form this like super sexual relationship, and it's supposed to represent BDSM, but it doesn't really represent it in a way that anyone who's actually a part of the BDSM community would appreciate. So there are a lot of issues with it, and on top of that, it's pretty horrifically written, but like horrifically written in that it just was written, it seems like it was written by like a teenager, but well written enough that it's fast paced. Like you just start reading it and you can fly through it because it's like junk food for your brain, I guess. So I don't know, I think I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. I could probably lower that to like 2.5. But I appreciated it being a fast read because I was in a serious reading slump. I'm still kind of in that reading slump, crawling my way out of it, but I appreciated it for that. But dear Lord, that book is awful. It actually ended in a way that made me curious. I didn't know how it ended when I went through. I don't know how I avoided spoilers for that long, but I had no idea it would end the way it did. And so it kind of made me think, well, how am I seeing trailers for 50 Shades Darker what is happening that are like this when the first book ended this way? I know I'm being so vague, but if you've read it, you totally know what I mean. So I wanted to see how it continued. And so I actually got 50 Shades Darker on my phone, and I'm about halfway through it, and I hate it even worse than the first one actually, because it's boring. Like it's more boring than the first one. I think the novelty is gone. But anyway, so I did read that. Let me know if you have any like really interesting feminist thoughts about 50 Shades of Grey. I would love to start a discussion down in the comment section as usual, because I just really like talking to you guys. You're really smart. I read The Road by Cormac McCarthy. So this is the second book that my friend Rachel and I were reading together. This is her husband's favorite book in the world. I was not expecting it to be as grim and almost hopeless as it was. If you're unfamiliar with The Road, it follows a father and a son in this post-apocalyptic world, and they're traveling down this road, and they're trying to get somewhere for some reason, and they're just trying to survive. And there are times where they're starving, and they're in a lot of danger at times and you don't know what's going on, and there are no chapters. Like, there are just breaks in the text. I don't know if you could see that, or there we go. There's like breaks in the text, but basically there are no chapters, so you can just start it and it just keeps going and going and going. And it's written with no real like attention to grammar rules, which was kind of interesting, and that took a while to get used to. There's like all these run-on sentences, and then all of a sudden they're like short choppy sentences, and I'm sure there's some literary reason for it. Let me know if you've read this and what you thought of the ending, but like put spoilers at the beginning of your comment so that other people don't get spoiled. I wouldn't say that I would recommend it to every single reader out there, because if you're someone who reads for pleasure, and you only want your books to be entertaining, you're not gonna like this, because it's not entertaining. It's very interestingly written, and Cormac McCarthy has this like amazing vocabulary. He has a very good way of describing things. I'm pretty sure I gave this like a 4 out of 5 stars. Those are all the books I read. I read 5 in 2 months. And like I said, I am halfway through 50 Shades Darker, so that'll only take me a couple of days to finish, so I'll probably finish that in March. And then the next book that Rachel and I are reading is The Help, and I just started it. I'm maybe like 20 pages into that. I don't know how far she is. She's been reading so much faster than me lately. I can't bring myself to do an official TBR because I'm so all over the place. So anyway, that is it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, definitely subscribe to my channel. I promise I'll be more active on this channel. I promise. Now that I've kind of like popped the cherry, I don't know why I said it that way, but like actually sat down. You know, when you put something off, you keep putting it off and putting it off, and then like seems like it's harder and harder. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm so out of the habit of doing this. Like, subscribe, comment to discuss books, because that's what we're all here for. And I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!